So, can you introduce yourself and let us know which physics courses you've taken?
Hi, my name's Sam Waite. I'm at the end of my second year at UNSW. I'm a physics major. And so far I've taken Higher Special Physics 1A and 1B, second year quantum physics, and classical mechanics and special relativity.
So, could you tell us what you like about lectures?
The thing I really like is that because it's presented by the person teaching the course, you get to see exactly the content you need to know, the order you ought to know it in. And because it's in person and it's often sort of a general overview, you get a really good intuition for the subject and feel how things go together and what they mean.
Can you tell us what do you find challenging when learning from lectures?
I find one of the biggest things is not necessarily knowing at the time what the most important content is. So if I want to look back and, for example, it wasn't recorded or I didn't take proper notes about that section, it could be a little difficult to review that in preparation for the final exams. And also, if there's something sort of long and complicated, like a derivation covered, it can be quite difficult to sort of stay perfectly following that throughout it in lecture time, because if you miss one step, it sort of stops making sense and becomes a little bit difficult.
So, how do you make use of videos?
For me, my biggest use of videos is refining the technical skills of the course. So oftentimes I'll go through the course staying up to date, particularly with the broad ideas and the intuition and the concepts. And then when it comes to preparing for exams, I like to look back on videos to get an idea of the specific little mathematical techniques and tricks that the lecturers like to use, or how a particular question tends to be calculated, or how a derivation was done. Those kind of precise technical skills that are needed.
Are videos made by other sources as useful as videos made by your lecturer?
I think it sort of depends on the course. I've found cases where I often refer to external video resources, and I found that in some cases they can be very helpful. However, this really comes down to whether the other course or the video creator had the exact same idea for the content and course in mind as the lecturer did. So if for example, if it's another university's videos and the syllabus doesn't line up, it can sometimes get a bit confusing or hard to follow when they do things in a completely different order or cover them in a completely different way that doesn't exactly line up with how we covered it at UNSW.
What would you like to see covered in videos?
I think for me, the most valuable thing is videos covering problem solving, like performing specific sort of calculations and problems in the course, and also covering sort of mathematical methods or derivations necessary for that particular subject in physics. I think that's what I most like to refer to videos for.
Would it bother you if some complex derivations were covered in videos rather than in face-to-face lectures?
Personally, I would find that actually more helpful in most cases. If it's a simple one, it might be okay in lectures, but especially longer, more complex derivations, I personally find I need to spend a bit more time on my own, being able to pause a video, work through the derivation myself to get the full understanding of it, whereas I often find it hard to go back in lectures and actually figure out exactly what happened at each step after the fact.
So, what do you think is the best use to make of lecture time?
I think lecture time would be best used covering all of the concepts and intuitions that we need for the topic, because that way you get a broad overview of what's going on, and then I personally take those ideas from the lectures, go home and refine my actual skills working with the calculations and the maths after the fact.
Thanks very much, Sam.
Thank you.